Fred Ricciani here for the Sports Courier, joined by a very special guest. He is the ultra-talented entrepreneurial Fabrice Calmels. Sir, how are you doing tonight?
Very, very good. And you?
I'm doing all right. How is it in Chicago right now? Probably not too pleasant, I would imagine.
It's pretty cold right now. Actually, we have a really great switch of weather. Not in the best. It's getting quite cold right now, very quickly.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Now, we're going to talk about your illustrious career in dance, but I understand you've been doing a lot of things outside of dance, right? Expanding your portfolio a bit.
Pretty much, yes. Yes. I started a little concept and basically creating new characters, ballet related. They're cartoon characters, and I'm trying to kind of introduce, ballet to young kids through different sort of characters. Very affordable and very great for kids.
That's definitely awesome, and I would imagine it's probably helped you as far as fitness goes with your profession. Staying in tremendous shape and all that. And I'd imagine you want to pass your knowledge along to other people. Maybe not people that necessarily want to just get into ballet, but just want to stay fit.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, we exercise quite a lot. We train. We do 5 days a week. Of training. We start in the morning at 9:45. We finish at 6:30, and it's all workout. We practice our season. We have quite a few performances here in Chicago, and then we take it on the road also. We have touring that goes all over the U.S., different cities around the U.S. Our program is very diverse. We do long-length ballet, and we do also very small productions, such like 20 minutes mixed program they're called, when we put very short pieces together to make it one evening.
If the internet reads correctly, you are 6'6" and pretty jacked. people gotta Google you to see. Now, do you lift weights, or is your primary exercise just dance?
My primary exercise is really dancing. I do add up a lot of workout. Depending on the production that we're doing with the Joffrey. Example, last year it was a Shakespeare production. Actually, the choreographer was Larry Bovich. The production was called Othello. And, Othello is a warrior. Most likely he's not too ballet looking. And so I had to really work out, add up extra exercise to be able to bulk up a little bit more, to have more the look to the person of Othello. So yes, I do add up a lot of exercise, do work out on the side when, the production needs it.
And how do you not fall into the same trap as a lot of athletes do by overcompensating and overtraining?
It's pretty tricky though. Just because in this sense, example like Othello, you're still doing the form of dance, and dance is most unnatural form there is out there. You need a lot of extreme flexibility and a lot of strength together. So sometimes it could be very difficult to find the right balance between the two elements. Meaning, you can work out, but when you work out, the tendency is to tense the muscle. It gets shorter. So sometimes you have to be very, very careful with you do in the type of training that you're doing to not become a little bit too unflexible for that matter.
And you are a tremendous athlete. I know some people don't always put two and two together between dancing and athleticism, but you certainly are a great athlete. When did you realize that you could parlay your talents into a full-time career?
It's been, I think, through the time that I've been with the Joffrey, most of my career. I've been 12 years now with the company. And, you look at different, directions, you're doing a form, you're pretty good at it. You kind of like look at what you've done and start thinking about the direction and how you would do something others, than only simply your form. I realize I'm 6'6", and it's been a very difficult journey, because of my height. All the odds plays against you, I think I'm pretty much the tallest ballet dancer, professional ballet dancer out there. All the odds plays against you. They don't think you're going to be able to do it. and I kind of proved this whole thing wrong. I was able to, to work with my height, done amazing production with my height, and prove quite a lot of people wrong. And so there's quite a lot of things you can do with such knowledge and such, things you can teach. You can do, a lot of things, on the side, and kind of teach all this knowledge that I was able to acquire through times.
And when did it click for you? When did you finally feel like, I mean, obviously as a professional, you want to improve all the time. You always want to get better. But when did you feel like it clicked for you where you said, you know what, I get this. I'm on my game. If I just stay on this path, I'll be all right.
I don't think I don't think there's such things. The thing that has to do with my form is that it's a life form. You get on stage, and every day there's always room to grow. There's always room to improve your technique. There's always room to improve your expertise, your talent, also your artistry. So it's never it's never over. There's always new talent that comes out there, and they're challenging you. The company, is always on the go. It's always changing. There's new blood coming in, so you have to always every day wake up and put you back in the flow, and tell you that it's never there. You always got to put yourself back in consideration. So there's no such thing as I have my game and I'm good now.
Fair point. Fair point. Now, you mentioned that people discouraged you. People tried to maybe prevent you from getting that far in dance because of your height, because of your look. Was there ever a point in time where maybe you thought in the back of your mind, I'll try this other career path? And what was that career path, if that ever came about?
I thought about other things, and they were very silly things. I mean, I've been dancing my whole life. I started dancing when I was 4 years old. And then I joined the boarding school at the Paris Opera when I was 11, the Billy Elliot story, sort of things. And I came to the US when I was 17, 18. And so it's been my whole life. Ballet has been really my whole life. This is the thing that I've known from the beginning. So, I thought about other things, but I knew that ballet was really the thing that, I was good at because I've done it for so long. For me, it was a challenge because once people tells you, it was a challenge because once people tell you, no, you can't do this, you just want to prove people wrong most of the time. So I kind of pushed towards that direction. I knew that it would be a lot of work, because again, there's not, that many dancers who are that tall. So people, the tendency when they don't have another example, to say, oh yeah, there's another tall guy out there, or maybe I can use him this way or use him that way. Most of the time, ballet company don't really look that you are fit for them. So I had to prove them I was, a real legit, and talented dancer. And at the same time, I was able to dance as well as people half my size. It was really, really difficult just because, with such limbs, such height, you can only imagine how much it takes to rotate in the air or spin, on yourself or move very quickly, or, it's very demanding.
And how is the physical toll? You mentioned all the hard work it takes. How's your body feeling these days, day to day, week in, week out?
Well, I'm 33 right now. I turn in September, and it's true. With age, you start not recovering that quickly. You start feeling. You have to really take care of your body. It's like an engine. You have to really spend the time. Taking care of stretching. Eat the proper food. Have the right diet, because, eventually, again, in the 20s, and you can just recover that quickly. I did have some injury. I broke a few bones. I had herniated disc, bulge disc, hernias. I collected some minor injuries in my fingers. I torn. I had the mallet finger. When you lose tendon.
Yeah.
All these kind of things. I also dislocated my thumb. I have minor injuries. Those are the ones that won't stop you. The big ones, such as your back, can be very, very brutal, and it can really hurt. And when you're lifting all the time, when you're bending backwards and you use a lot of your upper body, it could be very, very difficult. So I collect them. I collect quite a few, but none of them kind of like made me kind of look a different way and say maybe it's time to stop. You know, I always kind of recover nicely. I hurt in the disc. It took me probably a year to recover, and after that, I've been fine. So knock on wood. I hope he's going to keep going this route.
Good to hear. Would you say the physical toll your profession takes is the biggest misconception of it?
Um, I'm, you know, I'm not. No, I would not think so. No, no.
Okay. So what would you say would be the biggest misconception about your profession?
The misconception about my profession is that to me, you know, mostly here in the U.S., you know, here, the thing is, ballet it's been around for quite a while, you know, over 300 years, you know, and you know, in Europe, it's very appreciated, it's very well received. While in the US, they see it more as a very girly form and not as athletic that it should be, but it's actually one of the most difficult form of athleticism, I do believe, just because, again, it's going very two extreme different directions, such as, again, gaining flexibility is one thing, but strength in the same time. You know, flexibility and strength do not work well together. They are actually two opposites and can be very, very difficult to kind of like combine them together. So there is really that, to me, the misconception is like to be like, it's a girl thing to do, to be in ballet. And I really have to disagree with that.
And I don't think anybody would want to disagree with you if they saw what you looked like, because yeah, you're a pretty big guy. I know I would have messed with you. Just saying. Do you feel like the misconception has grown or lowered over the years?
You know, I think it has lowered. You know, the past year we've seen quite a lot of things happening. You know, on TV, there's some shows that's been appearing on TV, like So You Think You Can Dance, you know, Dance with the Stars. There's also a big blockbuster that did very, very good, Black Swan. So there's been sort of some attention, you know, towards ballet, and because it comes with attention, people try, you know, they test it out, and they see that it's actually not what they were thinking it was all along. So there is quite of a change. You know, I can see it gradually, and still in small dose, but it's happening right now. And it's also something, you know, like people have the tendency to believe that ballet is still the romantic thing, the dusty, classical, you know, romantic ballet. And it is not. There's a lot of new choreographer that came in and kind of destructured ballet, that kind of like took some steps and added more modern movement into it. So you find a lot of new choreographer and a lot of new choreography and a lot of new pieces that are very athletic today. That are moving not the way that old ballet old ballet structure are. So it's there, you see a change, but it's happening gradually and slowly. Yes.
How did you get involved with the prestigious Joffrey Ballet?
It's actually a very long. It's actually a very long story. I'm trying to make it short on this one. I came from the Paris Opera, who's basically a very big ballet company in Europe and Paris. And the Paris Opera had its own school attached to the company. When I grew tall and I started getting to the 6 feet and above, the Paris Opera is a very big house. It has many minutes. I think it has probably around 100 plus dancers, and they have the choice. And the Paris Opera is very notorious to have amazing ensemble. What I mean about ensemble is all the line of dancers, you know, the group. They're all the same height, they all move the same, they're impeccable. Well, when you're 6'6", you can really fit into this kind of ensemble when they're like all around 5'11" or a little bit taller than that. So for me, it was completely wrecked. You know, my career at the Paris Opera was you know, it couldn't happen unless I was giving, you know, would give my 6 years, because the thing with the Paris Opera, it does have ranks. in the company. You can't simply become a lead dancer if you want to. You have to go through different ranking, and there's probably around five or six of them. So I didn't want it to wait. I came to the US and tried different ballet companies. And after I was, I did dance in different ballet companies, and a lot of them were great, a lot of them were not that great. Some of them were great, but the city where you were living in was not that exceptional. So it was always like something. It was something good, but it was always something negative too with the place I was. Eventually, I auditioned, for the Joffrey Ballet in New York, and like the city, Chicago is it's an amazing city, and the Joffrey was a world-known company, so it was just the perfect fit for me. I felt it was like just right.
That's amazing, and I'd say, I mean, you've accomplished so much in your career. What would you say would be your proudest moment?
It happened back in 2009. It was to dance Othello from Lugovic. And the reason why is because when I was younger, I saw the best dancing in this role. And it's a very grueling, very heavy role, to carry. It's the whole ballet. It's a 3-act ballet, and it's 2+ hours. And Othello is all the time on stage, doing many pas de deux, lifting constantly, doing many solo. So it's very, very demanding, and not a lot of dancers dance Othello, the role of Othello. So when this ballet came around, and I got the chance to dance it, I was really, really honored. And it was just like a dream come true, just because, you just remember, the best dancer that danced it, and you're just like, wow, finally, like I get to do this role. It's kind of amazing.
All right, and we actually have some fan questions here. I asked some people to submit some questions prior to this interview. One person here asks, what is your everyday diet like in order to maintain the shape you're in?
Well, I'm trying to really keep every day, different meal, and I try to, to alter it as much as possible. I try to eliminate the junk food as much as possible. So I cook a lot. I eat steak. I eat my green beans, all the veggies. Like the salad. And then the following day I have some fish. I think red meat is very important. It gives you the protein. It helps you out. Recovering and rebuild. Your fiber for your muscle. You provide iron, zinc, vitamin B. So having a steak is really good. Fish is really good too. I try to alternate, every other day, and get some seafood, get sort of like, like good nutriment. And also I drink a lot of juice, drink a lot of milk. I try to cut down the alcohol. It's not something good for you. I drink a lot of beet juice. Also, it helps out. It helps with bringing oxygen through your bloodstream. It does improve a lot. So it's really a lot of like nice ingredients, just like juices, red meat, fish, my greens, my lettuce, So and I try to alternate this every other day.
Oh man, Fabrice, so you said no junk food. Does that mean you're not having any Halloween candy?
I do eat candies, but I've tried to kind of push it away as much as I can.
Where has ballet taken you that you thought it would never take you before?
You know, it's a very good question. You know, I guess it's very interesting because actually my personal experience with ballet is that every day it's just teaching you something else. It's amazing to see because the form is so difficult. Every day it gets a little harder. Because you're getting older every day, and every day gets a little harder, and it's just to wake up and have that discipline to get there and never give up. It's very tough, but it's very honorable. Like you feel it's kind of it's a tough process to always, come back and every day and pushing harder and harder and harder. And with age you get more experience. You tackle roles that needs experience. Othello is definitely not just only like doing a couple of jumps, and it's a lot of acting. There's a lot of emotion that gets involved. So to be able to put all this out there on a stage and be able to communicate that to your audience, there's so many aspects, of ballet, that is very educative and very, life experience. It's, I don't, every day I get surprised, by what I learn, So it's, to me, I would say to this person, I don't know, like, I would not be able to really have something very specific to say. I just feel like ballet is every day teaching me a lesson.
That's great. And we'll get chatter here on this question right here. What's one piece of advice you could give to anybody that would want to follow in your successful footsteps?
It's, well, it's the time that I spent, make my form and improving my form. You have doubt, you have, pain, you have lots of things that comes in your way of getting to your goal. You simply cannot give up, and you have to keep believing, and you have to trust. You have to trust yourself, and you have to believe in what you want, and keep pushing and keep going.
Wise words from a wise man who has done that. Fabrice, thanks so much for the time, sir. Before we go, where can fans find you online, and what upcoming events do you guys have?
Well, right now we just finished La Bailere, who was a premiere for the Joffrey Ballet. We are tackling right now, because it's getting cold outside and winter is coming. So the Nutcracker, our yearly event, the Nutcracker, we are going to be performing in Chicago. We're having a few performances, and it's going to go through December 6th to December 28th. It's a beautiful ballet. It's the choreography. It's from the founder of the Joffrey Ballet, Gerald Apino, and music Tchaikovsky. So wonderful, wonderful ballet.
Excellent, excellent. And do you have a Twitter where people can follow you on?
Absolutely. My first and last name. My website, FabriceCalmels.com. My Twitter account, Fabrice Calmels, at Fabrice Calmels. Instagram, the same thing. It's my first and last name for everything.
Hey, keeping it simple, easy to follow. That's great. Excellent. Fabrice, thank you so much for the time, sir.